you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. So today we're looking at some of the best strikers you're going to find for the cheap starters, going up a little bit in price and most definitely looking at more of a cheaper variety because the game's not fully out yet. So when we get to Friday, everybody's going to have the game, all of the standard edition, and I want to show you some of the players that I've kind of utilized and saw, and for you know what, they're looking pretty good from either an evolution standpoint or just to have as a starter, because you don't really want to be going out and spending $500,000 on a player because the market will absolutely dip as we get the first FUT champs, as we go into promos. It's going to be a big up and down on the market, and I would prefer for you to have actual coins. The first man, we got Felix. Now, when it comes to a lot of these, some of these are in like the 1 to 5,000 coins. Felix is one of the cheaper options that you can play as a striker, but has a massive advantage for going into evolutions. Now, it may not be incredible ratings of going up to 86 yet, but if you start on this now, get him up to an 81, an 83, an 84 in some capabilities, then that is going to be a cracking start for you. He can be on the left, he can be a striker, so he's got multiple versatility for your team. Also, with strikers specifically, there is obviously a big factor now that we've always got to have a look at, and that is rolls, rolls plus, and rolls plus plus. So with Felix, he doesn't have any plus rolls at the moment. That will come during evolutions as well if they haven't already been given one. So until he obviously gets a promo card that potentially gives him a poacher plus plus, or that is an evolution, it's a possibility to have a look at some of these cheaper ones and not necessarily have that as a major factor. Now with Felix, he's obviously got a decent amount of pace to start with. A lot of people have dropped down on the pace this year as well. Still some absolutely cracking 90 plus ones, but he's going to be one that would be worth an evolution. Going into Timo Werner, to be honest, one that can play right now. He is a left mid, which is just, it mind boggles me sometimes because obviously he is more of a striker than anything. It's just the fact he has transitioned into more of a left mid, left wing now rather than an out and out striker. But you whack a finisher on him, you can whack a hunter on him if you want, and you've got yourself a very cheap, affordable player. Now I'm not saying you're going to be absolutely dominating elite division with him, but most definitely to start with, he's going to be a cracking card to have. No playstyle plus is on a lot of these cards as well, so you don't really have to worry too much about that. That will come during due course with evolutions, with upgrades to the card in himself. We then have Gakpo coming in, another cheap one. Surprised that he is a striker. I thought he was more of the left wing, but they have chosen striker to be the primary version of him, but he has obviously got it as a alternative position for his left wing. Also a 4-4, I don't know if I've mentioned that. We got a 5-4 on Felix, 3-4 on Werner, and then obviously we've got 4-4 on Gakpo as well. We've obviously got the false 9+ for his roles and also the advanced forward. So far from me utilizing all 4 strikers, I'm personally a big fan of Poacher as number 1, advanced forward number 2, false 9, I've used very rarely because I don't personally like it. I would say then target forward and then false 9, but your setup could be different to mine. I find the Poacher to be one of the best ones as the striker just seems to be always in that right position. Advanced forward is a nice passing option from what I've played with, but the Poacher does seem to be number 1. Gakpo really cheap, nice rating as well, always good to have an 83 Prem player, and if you are building a Prem team, that's always pretty good as well. Back to another evolution card. He's a 4-3 at the moment, but Endrick is going to be one of them cards. He's very much like how we see a Rashford. We saw Danjuma last year. Nunez was another one. And then you have the likes of Yamal, who's already got an inform, so I suppose it's already taken that away from him. But Endrick already can go up to, I think, about an 80 rated at the moment, maybe even a little bit higher, but I've seen 80 rated at a minimum, so that's going to be a very interesting one to see how he goes forward. He has got the advanced forward plus, and he's also got a winger capabilities as well, in case the evolutions takes him down that path. But a very nice card to start with. It's coming in at about 5,000 coins as of today, and that is purely hype for what he can in the future. The only thing to always bear in mind with evolutions is cards will consistently get upgrades this year, so it's going to be interesting to see when he gets his first upgrade. Is it an inform? Is it an out of performance based promo? That's going to be the big thing for Endrick. We then go back to the tried and classic Lovely Nunez. We've managed to get him, and we played a couple of games with him online, and he's done pretty well. Last year he was the same. He's got a good amount of shooting for an 82, great pace, great physical. He, for me, is one of the best cheap starting strikers you can physically get, because he's just got the package that you need. He has got the Poacher Plus, the Advanced Forward Plus, and he just works really, really well in the game. The only thing that you need from him is that 3-star going up, and I do find that at the moment it's hard because not everybody's got crazy teams, so it could just be one team's better than the other, a striker's better than the defense, but definitely tall, lengthy players again having a major factor in this game. But there is plenty of pitch notes and updates that will come with that as well. We then have a downgrade for him, but Kolo Muani coming in very similar, just doesn't have that physical capabilities. He is controlled, but 90 pace, 80 shooting. Physical could do with an upgrade as well, but you go with a hunter, finisher, anything like that, and you're absolutely golden. He has got the Force 9, so unfortunately it would be an evolution that does take him that next level up, but another very cheap and affordable player. We then obviously have got one of the big names in it, and like we said, prices will go up. We've started really low, and I think I've gone to around about the 115k mark, because starting strikers 115 may seem expensive to start with, but you wouldn't believe how quickly you will get the coins in that month. But most definitely the lower end is going to be where you want to be looking for that absolute starter, and Victor is looking brilliant. He has got the 3-star skill move, so that does need the upgrade, but a 5-star weak foot is fantastic. Great pace, great shooting, great physical, and a very good amount of dribbling as well for all of that, all to be considered. He is 6'2" with mostly lengthy and Advanced Forward Plus. He's one of them ones I would definitely suggest having a look at a minimum. The only issue he's going to have at this moment in time, unfortunately, is going to be links. Swedish, I suppose you could go with someone like Isaac next to him, but you will need a fair few to get in them links, unless the Liga Portugal is going to give us some bangers. We have got the likes of Jota and Watkins, both being 85 strikers in the Prem. Again, coming in at about 10 to 20,000 coins. More than likely will drop with the first champs rewards, but most definitely some nice in the middle sort of value. If you're looking for rating, I find that to be a big driving factor with players at the start, is everybody's trying to get that absolute top meta team, trying to get that rating up as much as possible, and I think the 85s are coming in clutch here. We've got Watkins with more of a pace shooting, whereas I think Jota is more of an all-round, kind of in that left wing vibe, which we know he is, and he's got the rolls plus as Force 9 and Advanced Forward, and we've got Poacher for Watkins, which is why Watkins would go ahead of him in my opinion. We then throw in to CR7, surprisingly. He's really not coming in at that much. I think just over 20,000 coins currently. And to be honest, I still think he can do a job. Now, I have packed Neymar, so that's going to be a big factor for him to be kind of linking with him as well. But Ronaldo is looking fantastic as always. Advanced Forward plus, which is nice, especially on such a cheap card. You don't necessarily lose too much on him because he obviously is only 20,000 coins. If you lose 10k on him, it's not the worst thing in the world. And he has got a Power Shot Plus, the first one so far to have that Playstyle Plus, which could be massive. I think he's still got it in him. You're going to have to go with the Hunter, obviously, and maybe in the kind of course of a couple of months, we might see an evolution for him to get a bit more pace, maybe a little bit of weak foot as well. Getting that 5-star would be nice to make him into the 5-5, but we are in the very start to the games. The whole point is not to have 90 plus rated strikers. You got to remember that we are not absolutely anywhere near a point where we should be getting some really top level cards. These should be as basic as you'd like. Otherwise, the pacing of the game is just going to be totally off. Rashford obviously coming in a bit more expensive, just between 30 and 40,000. A huge one for evolutions. He's going to be massive because whether he does get any big cards this year, it definitely came a little bit less last year, so it will be interesting to see if he does the same. Does he get any informs? Is he going to perform this year? But the one thing that can perform is going to be the evolutions for him, which is going to be absolutely massive as always. Advanced forward plus, he has got the capabilities to be a winger as well, left mid and left wing if you should choose, and he does have the power shot plus, which is absolutely massive for a card that is only 81 rated. So he is one to definitely look at if you want to either sell him for the price that you can get him, because he will drop down from 30,000, but most definitely could be a nice investment into your club as well. We then go on to one of the SBCs that hopefully is available when the game is fully out, but he could have gone by then, and that is Danjuma. Very, very nice card. So if you've managed to get anything from the web app, I know that if you've got the standard edition, maybe you've not necessarily got enough coins to get him done, but he is one to definitely look at if you can. Poacher plus, advanced plus as well. He's obviously 5'10", 4'4". He's a decent starting striker. If you're looking at SBCs, he's going to be one that definitely crops up. Plus, he is a World Tour card, so you do get an objective done if you didn't want to do Sanchez as the objective, or can't do him as the objective right now. We then move into Alvarez, another cracking card. Will drop down quite heavily, so he is kind of like that cusp of me saying wait a little bit, because he will drop. An 84 of him. He's very good for an 84. He's got some decent stats across the board, but I wouldn't say he's like a complete world beater for 40,000 coins. He is just a total name for him, and he hasn't necessarily got the poacher or advanced forward. He has got the press proven plus, so he's at least got something, but he is a very, very nice, well-rounded card in La Liga. We then throw on Openda. Love Openda this year. He's starting to really get there. We normally see him with a bog standard 78, 80 rated card, and then he gets some nice upgrades going forward. This time he started with a decent card. 85 with incredible pace, very good shooting, dribbling, and physicality. Also then having the poacher role as well, very much like Watkins, but a little bit of a step up in my opinion. He's going to be one that is well worth having a look at, and hopefully he does continue with some very, very big cards going forward. Isaac, obviously going to be one of them, arguably one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. He's got to be up there, most definitely in the Prem. He's at least top 2, top 3 at the minimum. I think Haaland's obviously number 1, but second and third, I think you can definitely argue between. I don't see there being many other with the talent to show for him, and he is going to be a cracking card. 4'5", 85 rated, coming in at about 40 to 50,000 give or take whenever you're watching it. 6'4", no playstyle plus at the moment, but potentially could see an evolution with it, because the big thing that we have got with evolutions, why I'm kind of keep mentioning them, is they are starting to do them with max upgrades, max playstyle pluses, max rolls. So we're gonna see stuff that may be just a 1 upgrade on pace, but they don't get an overall kind of upgrade. Maybe that's the max they go for. It's going to be a very interesting time if they do implement it right. So it could mean that we get a better Isaac, even if he just goes up to an 86, but he gets an extra roll plus, a bit more pace, a bit more shooting. That is going to be very much worth looking at a minimum. Then we've obviously got Martinez, another cracking card. We're starting to go up the ratings a little bit more. He's about 80 to 90 at this point in time. 4'4". He has got himself the Force 9++, so if that does suit your style, he's going to be one to definitely look at. Finesse shot plus is always a big bonus as well. It's always a decent one to get if you can on your striker, and he definitely has that in an abundance. You're going to go with the Hunter. Physicality's there. Dribbling's fantastic. He's one to definitely have a look at if you are looking to spend that little bit more on your striker to start with. And then finally we have got the big boy Greasy. We love a bit of Griezmann. 4'3", unfortunately this year he's not quite got that 4'4", but he is left-footed with the finesse shot plus again. He's got himself the false 9 and advanced forward plus, and he does have the finesse shot with some very good stats. He's more a left stick dribbler more so than anything, so I would suggest if you are going with a dual striking partnership with him, trying for someone like Openda, someone a bit quicker to be able to get the ball off him, be that outlet, and Griezmann's the one who's got that dribbling, that technical ability in and around the box, which is just fantastic. And they are going to be the strikers that you want to go for. Let me know down below if you did enjoy, or if you have got any of them. Let me know what you think. Take care. Peace.